would have thought that my mother could be considered a strong proponent of the law of attraction? Join me inside and I'll tell you about some of the important writers and authors who wrote so vividly about it. As I was reading and researching the law of attraction, it was interesting to discover that many, if not most, of the authors I'll be talking about were a part of the New Thought movement. This movement, which originated in the late 19th and early 20th century, has as its core a belief that a higher power pervades all existence and that individuals can create their own reality via affirmations, meditation, and prayer. Early New Thought groups emerged from a Christian Science background, and many New Thought writers refer back to the Bible as their foundation text. New Thought resembles in some respects New Age philosophy, although some New Thought groups dismiss a connection. In the early 1900s, and in the absence of today's media, the presentation of the law of attraction evidences itself primarily in books, many of which you may recognize. As a Man Thinketh was written in 1902 by English writer James Allen. In 1906, in his book Thought Vibration, or The Law of Attraction in the Thought World, William Walker Atkinson used the phrase "like attracts like," which we often hear today after more than 100 years. In the world of published books, claims regarding the origins of the law of attraction are varied. Wallace Wattles, author of The Science of Getting Rich, claimed that his premise stemmed from the monistic Hindu view that God pervades everything and can deliver what we focus on, and also that negative thinking will manifest negative results. Author Annie Besant in 1919 compared her version of the law of attraction to gravitation and said that the law represented a form of karma. Napoleon Hill published 2 books on the same theme. The Law of Success in 16 Lessons in 1928 repeatedly referenced the law of attraction and proposed that it operates by use of radio waves transmitted by the brain. 9 years later, his book Think and Grow Rich was published, becoming one of the best-selling books of all time, selling over 60 million copies. In this book, Hill stressed the importance of controlling one's own thoughts in order to achieve success, as well as the energy that thoughts have and their ability to attract other thoughts. Napoleon Hill's works examine the power of personal beliefs and the role they play in personal success. What the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve is one of his hallmark expressions. How achievement actually occurs and a formula for it that puts success in reach of the average person were the focal points of his writings. Success through a positive mental attitude is another of Napoleon Hill's books you may recognize. And we don't want to overlook Mom. How many times did I hear, "You'll become what you surround yourself with"? And yes, Mom occasionally ended her sentences with a proposition. In your circle of friends and acquaintances, you probably can identify someone with a really positive approach to life. Contrast that person to another who seems to be negative about everything. 2 people in my life immediately come to mind. I more often choose to spend time with my positive friend because it feels good to be around her. And the other 2 I hardly ever see. Now, there is the law of attraction in a very simplistic form. And, oh yeah, Mom also said that the way I felt, dressed, and acted would determine the kind of man I would attract. Since she was such a good example and I followed her advice, I've been married for almost 40 years to the most wonderful man in the world. While I'm certain the New Age writers didn't have my life in mind, it worked anyway. This is Marlene Sparrow with M&M Prosperity Team, wishing for you God's blessing of peace, good health, and prosperity. And I'll see you on the next video of the Law of Attraction.